Maybe you've heard the rumors, maybe you haven't. This is not new, but possibly Apple will not be including a charger in the box with the iPhone 12. I'm not sure about the iPhone 12 Pro or all that difference, but basically this is the whole thing. We have an article by The Verge here, which is an opinion piece, but my thoughts on it can be summarized as, okay, that kind of sucks, but at the same time, I don't really care. I do have a ton of just chargers laying around in my desk that I do not use, so I do not need any charger. And you might think, oh, well, what about people who they do need a charger? And for that, I do think it's really going to depend on how Apple handles this, and we'll kind of get into that. So let's read this article. It's pretty good. This person does agree that they should not include a charger in the box at all. Well, not necessarily agree, but that's what they think. So it says over the weekend, which this is from June 30th. I'm a bit late on this, but it says the Apple analyst Ming-Chi Kuo, probably butchering that, is claiming that iPhones due to be released this year won't have chargers or earpods in the box. I don't care about the earpods. I have a bunch of those extras. I don't think I've ever used them or even taken them out of the little package. I do have AirPods, and I've had just the little adapter with 3.5 millimeter to the Lightning that I've used with my regular headphones that I've had in the past. Anyway, so the clearest piece I've seen about pulling the charger out of the box comes from venture capitalist MG Siegler. So this is the article by that guy, and he has 4 points that he makes for reasons why Apple is doing this, he believes. So these are not necessarily hard facts on why Apple is doing this, but these are reasons that benefit Apple. Don't get me wrong. So these are not really going to be benefiting the person, the user. So he says first, margin, obviously. The next iPhone's margins are going to be under assault due to 5G components, among other new technology. COVID has altered the supply chain immensely. The charger might not seem like a huge margin saving, but it adds up in aggregate. Also, there's upsell opportunities galore. With the new faster charging bricks, or even better, Apple's inevitably still forthcoming wireless charging solution, which is kind of weird that Apple has not even launched that wireless charging solution at all yet, and they're kind of making this move if possible. Shipping, you know what else adds up in aggregate? Shipping these units from China. If Apple can make these boxes more, I don't know how to pronounce that word, I'm embarrassed by that, but they'll pack in more. This helps in the environment in a way, but helps the bottom line even more. Obviously, if they can shrink the box even a little bit, they can pack them more, maybe even like 1% better packing. 1% shipping savings on their number one selling product would probably make a big difference for the margins. The next iPhone, that one after this one, is already rumored to forego wired charging entirely. This is another rumor that I think I am really skeptical of, the rumor that the next iPhone after this one is going to be all wireless with no port at all. Possibly the iPhone Pro will have that, which is kind of stupid. Now, for charging, it really will depend on how they pull it off. Like if they have one of those old MagSafe type things where it really sticks on, it's on securely onto the side of the phone, and it effectively behaves like a wired charger. It just kind of sticks to the side instead of plugging in. That's one thing, but I also wonder how is that going to work with file transfer, because I sometimes do record videos and I transfer it onto the computer via the wire. I don't know, does USB have some technology in there that can convert a wireless signal into a wired signal? I don't know if that even exists yet, so it would have to see. It would be really stupid for Apple to ship a phone that has no wired connection to the computer at all. I don't see that happening at all. So especially with people who back up with iTunes, that sort of thing. So anyway, where were we? Right, so forcing customers to get ready for a wireless charging revolution. So basically just warming people up to the idea of not having anything in the box besides the phone, maybe. Environment, this one is on the list, but it's the last item on the list. Apple does they do like to say how much they help the environment and stuff in their presentations. I don't think that would be their number one reason, though. All right, so another point, Apple's own chargers aren't the cheapest, so if you did have to go out and buy one, yeah, you're going to be coughing up money. This would probably mean that Apple would be getting people to go out and buy third-party chargers. This is going to be good for third-party chargers, but yeah, Apple, I don't know, they might not be making people too happy if they have to go and buy like a $20 charger. Now, keep going. This is a statement from Anchor. They say, there's one hope we really have, not only in Anchor, but others in the industry, that's really to turn chargers from majority being in the box to majority being bring your own charger. Yeah, no kidding. You think the charger manufacturers want them to include one in the box? I don't think so. So yeah, of course that would be good for Anchor. And it says, one big deal has to do with the e-waste. So every smartphone has a charger with it. And we had 1.5 billion smartphones that shipped last year. That's only for phones. And we have tablets, laptops, power drills, and more. We estimate a total of 4 billion chargers were shipped last year. That's about 300,000 tons of e-waste just from inbox chargers. 300,000 tons, yeah, that's a lot. I don't think that's the environmental thing is a big concern for companies, obviously. And yeah, this would help, but I don't know. I think there's a lot of waste that is produced by every other aspect of our lives that this is, I don't know, it's an okay argument, but I wouldn't make a judgment call purely based on if it's going to save e-waste. Moving on. First, so this is the requests this guy has, and I agree mostly with these. First, Apple can solve a lot of the potential resentment by simply offering consumers a choice, a free charger with the iPhone or Apple Store gift card of equal value. I agree with that if they could have a free charger option, or even if they lowered the price of the iPhone and then offered you the option to buy the charger at like a steep discount or even at cost. I think people would not be mad about that. It would be nice to have the option to have it for free, but I think if they did do it for free, people would just take it. They're like, yeah, it's free, I'm going to get it anyway. Or if it was like $1 or something like that. The question is, would Apple really lower the price of the phone and then do this? Probably not. They're probably going to keep the cost the same and then make this an upsell. And he says, second, I'd like Apple to finally do the right thing and switch the iPhone to USB-C. Apple switched its computers to USB-C. It switched the iPad Pro to USB-C. Nearly every other smartphone today has charged via USB-C. Now, this is one, yeah, I mean, I kind of agree, but at the same time, I don't know if I really care. I have so many USB to Lightning cables and USB-C chargers. It doesn't really matter to me which one it uses, but I think a lot of people, if they are iPhone users, they probably do not have that many USB-C chargers. So if they don't include a USB-C cable, or if they were to include a USB-C cable as the cable that includes it without the charger, and someone doesn't have a USB-C charger, then they're going to be like, what am I supposed to do with this? They might not even recognize the cable. I think we take for granted how people on this channel viewing might be familiar with these different plugs. But if you see this weird USB-C cable that you're not really familiar with, you might not even know it's USB-C. You're like, what is this new Apple cable? You know what I mean? Something like that. So it's really going to depend. We'll have to see really how this plays out. I'm not going to really comment too much on that. It says Apple itself signed on to a pledge to support universal chargers along with other consumer electronic companies. Big distinction between the plug on the charger and in the phone in. So this is another big thing that people have a misconception about. So there was a pledge that a lot of companies, and I think even Europe requires this, to have universal chargers ports. But this is very different from the thing that plugs into the phone. So yeah, you can have universal chargers that use USB-C as a standard, but that's literally only for the wall plug. It doesn't say at all that the phones all have to use USB-C. That's not what the pledge is for. So you end up with a lot of cables that are Lightning to USB-C, and that still technically follows that. And then we kind of talked about this already. There have been too many rumors about the forthcoming iPhone that only has wireless charging to ignore. Too many of these rumors to ignore. I already talked about that and my thoughts on that. So again, to summarize, I don't really care if Apple does do some sort of thing where they offer a discount, they offer it for free. I think that would be fine. I would not care if my next iPhone did not include a charger or even the earpods for sure. But there are some people who might, so you probably should give at least people the option. And it's really going to depend. And they got away with taking out the headphone jack. I think Apple could probably get away with not including a charger brick that so many people have, especially considering most of the time it's just those 5-watt ones that, they're almost useless when the iPhone has the fast charging and they don't even tell people about the fast charging. So you'll end up having to go buy the fast charging one. Anyway, I don't want to get too much into this. You hear my thoughts, but I'd like to hear you guys' thoughts down in the comments. Would you be pissed off? Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention, it's rumored also that the next Samsung Galaxy S30, I think it is, will also not be including the charging block. And I believe that's, though, for the 2021 version. So let me know your thoughts on that. So even if you're an Android user, they might be copying Apple. So you have to think about that. Would you be pissed off if your phone manufacturer, whatever it is, didn't include a charging brick? Do you have so many that you don't care? We can talk about that down in the comments. Be sure to subscribe, guys. I'm trying to make more videos again on this channel. I'm trying to make maybe even once a day the latest, biggest story that I would like to talk about, at least multiple times a week for sure, most days. So let me know down in the comments again what you think, and thanks for watching, guys.